The Vatican, 1501. A night so scandalous that even today historians debate whether it actually happened. Welcome to the Banquet of Chestnuts, the most infamous gathering of the notorious Borgia family. Imagine the most insane party you've ever heard of. Now multiply that by 100 and put it inside the Pope's own palace. That's exactly what happened at the Banquet of Chestnuts, a night of scandal, debauchery, and straight-up madness, hosted by one of history's most corrupt popes. And trust me, it gets worse the deeper we go. Stay till the end, because I'm revealing the craziest twist in this whole story that'll make you question everything you know about history. Alright, before we get into the wildest party in papal history, you need to meet the hosts. The Borgias weren't your typical religious family. They were more like a mafia dynasty running the Vatican, but instead of drive-bys, they had poison, political assassinations, and, well, wild festivities. Meet Cesare Borgia, warrior, killer, and the real-life inspiration for Machiavelli's The Prince. And then there's his dad, Pope Alexander VI, also known as Rodrigo Borgia. He didn't care about holiness. He cared about power, money, and throwing the wildest parties in history. Oh, and fun fact, he had multiple children, which, popes aren't supposed to have. And we can't forget Lucrezia Borgia, the Borgia femme fatale. Some say she was innocent, others say she was way too involved in family affairs. Either way, if she handed you a drink, don't drink it. So it's October 30th, 1501. The Vatican is supposed to be a holy place. But that night it was more like a medieval version of Vegas gone wrong. Rome is ruled by the powerful Borgia family. Pope Alexander VI, his ruthless son Cesare Borgia, and the enigmatic Lucrezia Borgia were at the height of their power. To celebrate, they hosted a gathering in the Apostolic Palace, one that would go down in history for all the wrong reasons. The Borgias invited high-ranking church officials, nobles, and, get this, 50 of Rome's most talented courtesans, working girls. At first, it looked like a normal feast, tons of food, gallons of wine, but then the real entertainment started. The chestnut game, aka medieval twister, but worse. According to Johann Burchard, the Pope's master of ceremonies, who somehow kept a straight face writing this down, the night started with a lavish feast. But then, things took a turn. 50 courtesans were invited, first dancing fully clothed, then stripping down. And then came the chestnuts. Candles were placed on the floor and chestnuts were thrown between them. The courtesans, now only wearing what God gave them, were made to crawl on all fours, gathering the chestnuts in front of the watching guests. But that was just the beginning. Then came the real games. The men were encouraged to take part in a competition, basically who could engage most frequently with the women. And guess what? The winners got prizes, silk cloaks, fine shoes, a literal reward system for debauchery. Oh yeah, and guess who was watching all of this without blinking? The Pope, the head of the Catholic Church, just sitting back like, good job, my son. You get a gold star. Burchard's account states that the Pope, Cesare, and even Lucrezia watched as guests competed in intimate performances with the courtesans. Now, this all sounds insane, but did it actually happen? Here's where things get tricky. The only real source for this event comes from the Liber Notarum by Johann Burchard, a papal official who hated the Borgias. Some historians think he exaggerated the whole thing to make them look worse. Vatican researcher Peter de Roo speculated that the passage might have been added later, arguing that Pope Alexander VI couldn't possibly have engaged in such behavior. Others say, no, the Borgias were wild enough to actually pull this off. Many historians defend Burchard's reliability, pointing out that the Borgia family was infamous for its excesses. Was it really Borgia propaganda or the wildest party in history? What is true is that Pope Alexander VI and his son Cesare Borgia were notorious for their corruption. The Vatican really did become a playground for crime, greed, and power during their reign. Whether or not the Banquet of Chestnuts went down exactly as written, it definitely wasn't far off from reality. So, what's the takeaway from this? Well, next time someone tells you history is boring, just remind them that a pope once hosted a seductive dance party in the Vatican. And honestly, compared to the Borgias, modern scandals are kind of weak. Whether true or exaggerated, the Banquet of Chestnuts has lived on in infamy. It has been depicted in books, movies, and even TV shows like Showtime's The Borgias. It remains one of the most shocking tales of Renaissance Rome. a symbol of corruption, decadence, and absolute power. So, was this the wildest party in history? Or just another Renaissance exaggeration? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insane historical scandals.